Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get everything they want? It might seem like they're just lucky, but there's something more to it. They've understood the power of asking. Let me share a personal story. Once, I was stuck in a job where I felt underappreciated and underpaid. I loved what I did, but something didn't feel right. One day I decided to step up and ask for a raise. It was nerve-wracking, but I knew I had to do it. I prepared myself, walked into my boss's office, and laid out my case. To my surprise, not only did I get the raise, but my boss also appreciated my initiative and gave me more responsibilities. That was a significant turning point in my career. So the next time you want something, step up and ask for it. You never know where it might lead. Remember, the universe responds to your desires when you vocalize them. Do you ever feel like you have to be perfect all the time? I remember a time when I was trapped in this cycle of perfection. Every task had to be flawless, every decision the best one. It was exhausting, and ironically, it wasn't making me happy. There was a moment when I realized this. I was working on a project late into the night, obsessing over every detail. Suddenly, I found myself laughing. Here I was, sacrificing my joy, my sleep, all in pursuit of an impossible standard. It was absurd. That's when I decided to embrace imperfection. I started to see beauty in the flawed, the incomplete. I found joy in the journey, in learning from my mistakes. I discovered a deeper satisfaction, not in achieving perfection, but in doing my best and accepting that it's enough. Perfection is overrated. You are perfect, just as you are. Did you know that laughter is a powerful healing tool? It's a truth that has been my lifeline during some of the most challenging times. Let me share a little story with you. A few years back, I found myself in a job that was incredibly stressful. It was a pressure cooker, with deadlines looming like storm clouds. One day, amid the chaos, a colleague of mine started sharing a ludicrous story about how he tried to cook dinner for his date and ended up setting off the fire alarm. As he narrated his culinary disaster, we all started chuckling, then laughing, and before we knew it, we were in splits. That shared laughter was like a pressure release valve. It lightened the mood, diffused tension, and reminded us that there's always room for humor, even in the most stressful situations. And that's the magic of laughter. It's a healing elixir that can turn around even the hardest of days. Laughter is indeed the best medicine. Do you fear change? Let's consider this for a moment. Change, as frightening as it may seem, is an inherent part of our existence. It's our compass, pointing us towards growth and evolution. It's in acknowledging the need for change that we truly begin to understand ourselves. I remember a time when I was stuck in a rut. My days were filled with monotony, and I was unhappy. It took a while, but I finally realized that I was the common denominator in all of my dissatisfaction. I was the one holding myself back from happiness and success. It was a hard truth to swallow, but it was the wake-up call I needed. I made a pact with myself to embrace change, to step out of my comfort zone and to face my fears. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight, but it was worth it. Every step, every stumble, every leap of faith brought me closer to the person I am today. Change is the first step towards improvement. Have you ever lied to yourself? I remember grappling with this question when I was at a crossroads in my life. I had been living in denial, convincing myself that I was content with my job, even though inside I was screaming for a change. I was stuck in a loop of self-deception, and it was eating me up. One day I stumbled upon a quote that read, "The worst lies are the ones we tell ourselves." It was like a lightning bolt. I'd been lying to myself, and it was causing me more harm than any external adversity could. So I decided to confront the truth. It was painful, it was challenging, but it was also liberating. I acknowledged that I wasn't happy with my job. I admitted that I was scared of the uncertainty that came with change. But I also realized that I was stronger than my fears. Your soul knows the truth. Listen to it. Have you ever lost someone dear to you? A question that stings, but a reality we all face. I remember when I lost my brother, Eric, 2 years ago. My world, once vibrant and full of color, turned cold and dark. It felt like I was stuck in a perpetual winter, where the warmth of laughter and happiness was a distant memory. Eric was my confidant, my partner in crime, and the keeper of my secrets. His loss left a gaping hole in my life, a chasm that seemed impossible to bridge. I was lost in a sea of grief, the waves of sorrow threatening to pull me under. It was in these depths of despair that I realized something profound. The love I had for Eric was not extinguished with his passing, it was merely transformed. The love I had for my brother didn't die when he did. It lived on, burning with an intensity that surprised me. I found that I could channel this love, this powerful, overwhelming emotion, and share it with others. I started volunteering at a local community center, helping out with after-school programs and weekend activities. I found solace in the smiles of the children I worked with, their laughter echoing Eric's in my mind. I realized that by sharing my love, by giving a part of myself to others, I was keeping Eric's memory alive. The pain of loss never truly disappears, but it evolves. It becomes a part of who you are, shaping you in ways you never imagined. But through this pain, through this loss, love endures. It is a testament to the human spirit, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. It is a reminder that even when we lose someone dear to us, their influence, their love, continues to shape our lives. Love is not bound by the physical plane. It transcends time and space, reaching out to touch our souls in the most profound ways. It is a force of nature, unyielding and relentless. It is the essence of who we are, the fabric that weaves our lives together. It is the one constant in a world filled with uncertainty. Love endures, it goes on and on. It is a beacon that guides us through the darkest nights, a spark that ignites the flame of hope within us. It is the enduring testament to those we have loved and lost, a tribute to their memory that lives on in our hearts. Did you know that you always have a choice? Let me share a personal story. There was a time when I found myself at a crossroads, feeling lost, with no clear path ahead of me. It felt like life had me cornered, and I was out of options. However, I soon realized that even in the absence of clear answers or direction, I had the power to choose my next action. I chose to seek help, to pray, and to push forward, despite the uncertainty. This simple act of making a choice, of taking control, was incredibly empowering. It was a reminder that no matter how bleak or desperate a situation may seem, we always have choices. We have the power to decide our next step, our next thought, our next action. This ability to choose gives us power over our circumstances. You always have the power to choose. Use it wisely. Have you ever held a grudge? I'm sure we all have at some point. I'd like to share a personal story about the transformative power of forgiveness. A few years ago, I had a falling out with a close friend. A misunderstanding spiraled out of control, leading to anger, resentment, and eventually a cold silence that lasted for years. The grudge I held against my friend was like a heavy weight, burdening my heart and mind. It was a constant presence, a dark cloud that cast a shadow over my thoughts and emotions. I felt justified in my anger, convinced that I was the wronged party. But as time went on, the bitterness didn't bring me any satisfaction. Instead, it only served to amplify my pain and isolation. Then one day I stumbled across a quote that struck a chord within me. It said, "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die." I realized that my resentment was not harming my friend, it was harming me. So I made a decision. I chose to forgive, not for my friend, but for myself. It was not an easy process. It took time and patience, but as I let go of my anger, I felt a profound sense of relief, as if a great weight had been lifted from my shoulders. Forgiveness did not mean that I had to forget what happened or reconcile with my friend. It simply meant that I chose to release the negative emotions that were holding me captive. In doing so, I found peace, a peace that brought with it freedom and a renewed sense of joy. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. It is a gift that we give to ourselves. It is an act of self-love and self-care. It is a testament to our resilience and strength. Forgiveness isn't about letting the other person off the hook. It's about setting yourself free. So I ask you, who or what do you need to forgive to set yourself free? So what have we learned today? We've discovered the transformative power of asking for what we want, and the universe's uncanny ability to respond. We've embraced our imperfections, realizing that the pursuit of perfection can often rob us of joy and fulfillment. We've recognized laughter as a potent elixir, a choice that can lighten our burdens and offer a reprieve from our challenges. We've acknowledged the need for change, understanding that to evolve, first we must recognize what must transform within us. We've tuned into our inner truth, our soul's wisdom that knows the truth even when we try to hide it. We've acknowledged the enduring nature of love, its ability to transcend loss and continue in new, unexpected ways. We've harnessed the power of choice, reminding ourselves that we always have options, even in the face of adversity. And finally, we've tapped into the healing power of forgiveness, not as a means to absolve others, but to liberate ourselves from the chains of resentment. Embrace these truths and watch how your life changes for the better.